Our second student speaker, representing our undergraduate programs, is Marisa C. Sweeney. Marisa Sweeney graduates with a BS in Management with a finance concentration, as well as a BA in Harper with a PPL major. She spent a semester on exchange at Utrecht University. Within SOM, Marisa held leadership positions with PwC Scholars Program, the Dean's Mentoring Program, and Women in Business. In addition, she served as a resident assistant, philosophy teaching assistant, active student association member, and troop facilitator for the Girl Scouts. The university recognized Marisa with the President's Award for Excellence. Marisa interned and will begin full-time work with Goldman Sachs and Company.
Thank you, Dean Babinski. Good evening, everyone. Thank you so much for coming, and I hope you're all ready for my speech because I know we've had a few of them so far. So, first, I'd like to say thank you to my family that's here today, specifically to my sister, Catherine, who, before the ceremony, informed me that she brought her Kindle just in case I got a little boring. So, always be prepared, Kath. Way to be. So thank you to all of our honored guests, our esteemed faculty, staff, generous parents, siblings, distant relatives, and any and all supporters of graduates. The completion of a degree is hardly a solo endeavor, so on behalf of the class of 2014, thank you for all the love, support, time, and commitment that helped to get us here. If there's any undergraduates currently out there, take this moment to truly appreciate that you have some more time left. Literally, sooner than you know it, you'll be here. So, in accordance with the timeless tradition of offering a token piece of wisdom in a commencement address, I will share with you the best piece of advice that I have received during my time at Binghamton. While at some universities, Nobel Prize winners and business moguls and professionally funny people are hired to speak to graduates, at Binghamton, you get to hear from two nice 22-year-old girls from Long Island. So, whether you find this awesome or you just can't even, I think we can all appreciate the bring appropriateness of this. So, the best advice. I was sitting in an echoey lecture hall, and a certain mustached man, who I later came to find out was none other than Professor Elliot Camlet, looked out into our eager young faces and said, "Accounting is the language of business. You should be an accounting major." And my first thought was like, what is even accounting? I don't know what that is. So that was a joke. No disrespect to accounting majors and professors and CPAs and people trying to pass their CPA. You are the lifeblood of this institution. And to those who dare to stray the course, those non-accounting majors, way to be a trailblazer. So, to the wisdom I was sharing. I'd like to offer you some context. It was the spring of 2013, and I was on the prowl for a gym class to fulfill my wellness requirement. Some of my peers enrolled in wellness through yoga because they hoped to achieve the unification of the mind with the body. Others were looking to diversify an already disciplined exercise routine. Candidly, I chose wellness through yoga based on what I believe to be two of the most fundamental, noble principles of collegiate existence. They are the maximization of sleep and the maximization of GPA via a minimized effort. Well, yes. So, I couldn't in good consciousness pass up this class. It took place in the Union, which was a mere 5-minute commute from my bed, and specifically not the West Gym, which is over there, and is the campus equivalent of GOM for those of you who may be unfamiliar. So, the second principle of collegiate existence, and let's be honest, in the School of Management, this is a pretty important one, the maximization of GPA. I had heard there was only one paper for this class. So, all signs pointed that this would clearly be a perfect class, and almost in spite of my most righteous reasons for enrolling, it turned out to be the most transformative of my college career. This is mostly due in large part to Miss Melissa Collins, who is my 60-something Zen yogi master, more flexible than I will ever be professor. While she taught me many things that semester, she offered one lesson that I will share with you today and will keep for the rest of my life. Each and every class, Melissa would open with the following greeting: Welcome to another beautiful day in the Southern Tier. Remember, there is no bad weather, only inappropriate clothing. Wait, okay, I'll get there. I'll let that sink in, because at first I found it hilarious, but then after a few classes, it really started to become pretty relevant to my life. There is no bad weather, only inappropriate clothing. On the most literal level, this is a fitting allusion to one of Binghamton's most extraordinary qualities, the weather. You may have heard, but I would bet that Binghamton is one of the few places in the world where over the course of one day, you get rain, hail, a sunburn, half of the biblical plagues in May. Even during the week before finals, you can spot ladies tanning in Daisy Dukes next to folks in full floor-length North Faces. So, there's no bad weather, only inappropriate clothing. To my fellow graduates, this applies to whatever awaits us beyond today. Whether you envision your immediate future as a sure-footed step on the trail to greatness, or more of a begrudging leap into the unknown, the ability to adapt yourself and greet change with positivity will pay off in spades. Our ability to overcome obstacles is directly dependent on how often we turn inward for inspiration and for focus. You must know yourself. And I don't mean this in some hokey, philosophical, like, what is the self sense. I mean it in terms of the basics. Like, what motivates you? Is it when you're publicly recognized? Or is it when you're working towards an intense goal? When are you the most happy? Is it when you're working on an intense project or when you're leading the group? I'm going to stop now because I see that Catherine is on chapter 3 of Game of Thrones, and I'm starting to sound like an online dating profile, but don't worry, Uncle Joe, keep doing what you're doing. It's hard out there for players. So, the larger point is the more in touch you are with your internal motivations, your strengths, and your weaknesses, the better you can prepare yourself to make the most of the next opportunity or moment of change which life throws at you. While we may have to work within the reality of a given situation, we also have the freedom to be creative with potential resources which may not even be immediately apparent. Prepare now by investing in your potential. Cultivate relationships in the present with the hopes of a better future. Life is far too uncertain to take your network, and even more importantly, your support system for granted. When you're in a position to give freely and give generously. Keep the people who keep you going close, and be wary of those who hold you back. Give it while you have it and when the chance strikes, and by the same token, when others give it back to you, accept it graciously and don't forget it. To be honest, the transition from college to postgraduate reality truly freaks me out sometimes. Seriously, like in SOM, the success is defined pretty clearly, right? You get good grades, you find your people, you join a club, go to some parties, and then you get a job. This is all pretty like step by step. There's no syllabus for life, and at times this feels daunting. In the real world, the definition of success blurs and becomes something that's all your own. It's a heavy concept to even define, let alone achieve. While 5-year plans and goals are useful, a consistent positive attitude and a routine of daily action which is in line with your most genuine self will propel you forward. At times, we can get caught up worrying about the life that we don't even have yet, or even worse, the life we used to have. Instead, we must strive to live in the present and take each moment as a small step, an opportunity at realizing success. And if at any point this seems overwhelming, remember for a minute that you, Warren Buffett, Beyonce, and David Schwartz have one limiting factor in common. Each day brings you 86,400 seconds, the same 24 hours, no more, no less, and it's up to you to make the best of them. So, congratulations, class of 2014. For the hopeful CPAs, entrepreneurs, artists, trailblazers, professors, lawyers, wolves of Wall Street, parents in midlife crisis, and anyone in between, here's to a future of unbounded potential. Remember, there is no bad weather, only inappropriate clothing. Thanks.